I've never heard that song. I've only heard the title. I've never actually heard that's how it goes. That was eye-opening.
I'm glad
That's
to
the
hear that,
Eagles?
John. Yes, it's the Eagles. You guys don't know
Yeah.
that song? Yeah.
Well,
Week 8 opponent.
No, I mean, we opened for the Eagles. You remember, if you remember, in the 1996.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but we were
All right.
it was an out-of-body experience, so I don't really remember.
Speaking of out-of-body experience,
Yeah.
T. Higgins is not bringing his body to the
No.
experience of
The Cincinnati Bengals practice.
OTAs. And a lot of people are talking about it. They're saying
A
he hasn't
lot of
signed his tag. He's
Daddy,
not practicing.
Daddy, what are a lot of people saying about T. Higgins?
A lot of people are saying that T. Higgins is not sure what he wants to do. He wants a contract. He's not getting a contract. He wants from the Bengals. At the same time, he's being reasonable. He's not asking for even close to top tier receiver money. He wants to stay with the team. But the Bengals
was he
don't
asking
even
for?
want
How
to
much
pay
money?
him like a tier 2, or I should say, John, 1B, let's say, right? They didn't want to pay him like that type of receiver.
Well, how much does he want?
He wants about what? Was it 2024? I forgot. Something like that.
What
Per
report are
year.
you going off of?
John, I'm going by. It was on the A to Z
It's something he dug out of the
Sports.com.
garbage.
A to Z Sports, I think.
We didn't report that. We
Okay.
we analyzed the report, the original report for that, and we, analyzed it and came to our own conclusion.
He's literally reading a Twizzler wrapper that he has.
John, I've noticed that A to Z Sports does aggregate a lot of content from around the web, so it's no
Gotta get
telling
post
where
up.
they're getting this. Yeah. So, look.
Okay, so hold on. He wants 2024. Is that what you said?
I think like around between 20 and 24. I think probably 24 million. I think was the number.
Well, how
they
much is
threw
he
out
going to
there.
get right now? How much is he set to get?
And the franchise tag?
Yeah,
I think
17.
a little bit more than that, right, John? In the 1 year.
If the Bengals don't want to guarantee money, he wants a lot more.
Right.
I say he, as in
Yeah.
Higgins' camp, they want close to $30 million,
Right.
without the guarantees that normal teams give out. So it's
Wait
a
a minute,
really
all-
weird situation.
John, all of this is just for $10 million.
A year,
Per
it's a
year.
principle.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so it's not. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a vote. Who thinks T. Higgins is worth it? My hand is up.
I wouldn't pay him $30 million a year.
I would.
I'll tell you this.
My hand is up. I would pay him $35 million a year. Why? Because T. Higgins was the secret recipe behind why
Yeah.
Jamar Chase was so good.
Well,
It's like when you've got two, each one becomes more dangerous.
here's the thing. That
It's like
is-
imagine a boxer with one arm, John.
yeah. Here's the thing. By the way, welcome to Dr. Sealer is back. So happy to see him.
I salute you, Dr. Siegler.
Let me just say this. What you're explaining, Dr. Hoji, is the concept of having two wide receivers on the field at the same time, where one of them takes attention away from the other. Here's the thing. That can be someone other than T. Higgins, that other wide receiver. So
Who
that
is
is
that
why.
good? Who is that good? I don't
Well,
think
we're
anybody-
going to get to that. The new
Let's
kid
get
in
to it.
town, Mr. Jermaine Burton.
Mr. Johnny Come Lately Burton.
Johnny come lately. Yeah. This guy is stealing Joe Burrow's heart. That is what the reports are saying, John. They're saying he is seizing the opportunity of no T. Higgins, no Jamar Chase in camp. He's like, look, I'd love to learn from these guys, but it's pretty nice. I like this Joe Burrow guy. He said something like, that's my man. I like learning how he likes certain things.
Why
So
does that sound so sick when you say it?
Well, I probably didn't get the words exactly right, but John, here's the thing. He is developing chemistry with him. We saw the clips in the beginning of the show. This guy is a real deep threat, and if he keeps his head on the straight, he is going to be a big-time playmaker for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to definitely make them forget about Tyler Boyd. And really, I think with his big-time playmaking ability, maybe that guy opposite of Jamar Chase, that bigger receiver, doesn't have to be a game breaker, John.
What do you mean? Doesn't have to be? Like, that's who Burton is, though. Isn't that the whole appeal? to
Yeah.
him?
What I'm saying is maybe they can just have a guy with size, but he doesn't necessarily have to be a guy
star.
who makes... Yeah, he doesn't have to make those big-time plays down the field so much
I couldn't
the way T.
disagree
Higgins
more.
did.
I could
John,
not disagree more.
No, I mean, Jermaine Burton's skill set is precisely what they've been lacking, which is just a
Right.
guy that can just run deep.
What I'm
and
saying is...
take
which
top
is
off the
why,
defense.
which is
What
why
I'm-
he's
what-
a great replacement for
John,
Tyler Boyd.
But he
What-
can also
yes.
he can also make the contested catches. That T.
Right.
Higgins
What
could
I'm
make.
saying, John, I'm talking about
Yes,
in terms
but
of
can he make
on-field...
them just in the same quality that T. Higgins could make them?
John, what I'm saying is with that ability at the slot that we didn't have with Tyler Boyd, then on the outside, we don't need a star because we have Jamar Chase and we have him as the guys making the big plays.
Yeah, but I don't know.
The
We
splashy
can't
plays.
just label him as a slot. He's not only going to play in the
No,
slot.
he's got everything.
I think he's going to be half and half probably.
Yeah.
And you're going to see Jamar Chase in the slot. You're going to see Mike Gesicki in the slot.
I think so
outside.
too.
And Teagan's still going to be there. I don't know why we're just like saying that Burton's going to
No,
replace
I mean,
him
that's-
immediately.
That was really good
Well,
insight.
but I think
yeah.
there's a fear, John, and it might be unsubstantiated, but the fear that many Bengals fans have that we're not going to see 100% effort from T. Higgins. Because he's not going to be paid.
I mean, he's going to be paid.
He is.
No, the way he
I
wants
think
to be
Paid more than he's ever
Well-
been paid before.
Yeah, but not.
I
the way
don't.
his
I don't
wants
like
to
the franchise tag, but there's no way you can turn that down and not play his
Well-
heart out for a deal in the future.
You know who else doesn't like the franchise tag? Is former Bengals safety and future Hall of Famer Jesse Bates, who told T. Higgins to go out there, ball out, train like it's one of your
be.
last
I believe it's
years.
balls out.
Yeah, train out. Yes. And what he's saying, John,
they
he's
were
saying,
tight shorts, tight compression, not possible.
yeah, it's more smashed.
It's more of a
out.
metaphor,
Yeah.
John.
John, here's the thing. He is telling him to go out there, look, just play like the world is ending. And, that was, it's almost like he's saying, I wish I did that. Because
Wait a
here's the
minute, wait a
thing.
minute. How could
Yeah.
things have not been? I mean, things went perfectly for Jesse Bates. Wasn't he taken by the Falcons? and
Right,
made him a Hall of Famer? I mean,
But he, in the regular
things
season.
went really well for him.
Yeah. So, John, here's the thing. T. Higgins had a subpar season last year, probably his worst, considering how far into his career he was. Injury and distraction. So this year, 2 years in a row, if he does not look like a top 10 receiver, that's going to significantly impact his contract.
He just needs to be healthy, and I think he
And
needs
focused.
to play. He needs to play more games than last year. He needs to be more consistent. You bring up Bates. It was Bates's original contract year where he was really distracted in the beginning, but then he really turned it on towards the later part of that season. He was arguably the Bengals' best player
In
in
the
the
playoffs.
entire playoff
Yes,
run, right?
agreed,
He had
agreed.
this interception in the Super Bowl. So T. Higgins is kind of on that path where, very down third or fourth year of his career, and then he's on the franchise tag now. And at this point, like, the clarity, it is what it is, right? He knows he's probably not going to get an extension by the time July 15th rolls around. As soon as that deadline passes, he's on a one-year deal. All he can do is just play his heart out and hope that the Bengals don't tag him again, so then he can get the deal that he wants in free agency, which it is exactly what happened with Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
And how many times can they tag him?
They can tag him twice, and they already know the amount that they would have to pay him for
and
another tag.
he can't tag them back. It's
No.
it's his backseat, no backseat, dropseat kind
They
of.
should add that in the next CBA, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they
Well-
can tag him as many times as they want, and they can just keep paying him a low fee. I got a feeling that's exactly what they're gonna do, John.
Shout out Greg for Prime Sports Network. He had me on a couple days ago. Great show
Yeah.
of his.
Great show. Thank you
Great
for having
show,
us
great
on.
hat, Greg.
Thank you for having
You
us
guys
on.
actually
And-
were on the show. He was playing you
Yeah.
guys in the background. I forgot to bring that up, but I'll try to give you guys a clip of that.
Thank you, Greg, and we will.
Thank you, Greg.
Let's
I love
give
the
him.
intensity.
John, pass our address along for the copyright infringement penalties,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, John. Let's move on. Okay, we talked about
Let's-
Joe Burrow's new favorite targets.
Did we talk about Joe Burrow's hair?
We did not talk about Joe Burrow's hair,
Okay.
but the question is this: what does when the person changes their hairstyle and gets a little healthier, they get in shape?
He
Think
didn't
about it.
change his hairstyle.
Just think about it. Just think about it.
Okay.
So you have a man in middle aged. All of a sudden, he's taking
Wait.
better care of himself.
Who are you talking about right now?
And so you have to question what is going on in his life. Who is new in his life? And the
Are you talking
answer
about
is
yourself?
Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine
The
Burton.
answer is Jermaine Burton. Is
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's new? He's the apple of his eye, John.
He didn't change his hair though.
No, he
Like,
didn't
that-
change his hair. That's the
that
whole
was
point. It was
fake.
all made up. It was fake. It was
I
deep
see.
fake.
I see. Okay. John, please, can we keep the fake news to a minimum here? By the way, I hope you know that John writes for A to Z Sports.com/Cincinnati, and I write for Cincy Jungle. We have a bit of a rivalry going on.
I know.
John is more of the New York Times style, right? I'm the more of the New York Post
Kind
style.
of a one-sided rivalry, but yeah.
Yeah. And so what happens sometimes
Fact
is
versus fiction.
we end up covering the same stories sometimes.
Well, you could call it that, or wouldn't plagiarism be a better word, Daddy? I mean,
I don't-
just kind of looking for the right
I-
synonym there.
Here's the thing. What
Didn't you
really?
plagiarize,
What
John?
is plagiarism?
Well,
What is
plagiarism is by definition when you take someone else's words and attribute them to yourself.
Well, I've never done that. I've always attributed to John. I just copied pasted them into articles. And so here's the thing.
That's pretty close to being plagiarism.
So here's the thing. Well, we'll let Pat McAfee decide. So Pat McAfee on his show, he was talking about Joe Burrow's wrist, and what did he do? He pulled up a tweet about this article, John. We can
Daddy-o,
dispute.
You made it big time, Daddy-o.
We can dispute whose article it was referring to. It quotes
dispute
John's
that.
article. It quotes John's article many times, and but it got John national acclamation, and but not everybody,
Hold on, wait, go back.
well, it's going to start from the beginning again.
Oh. Well, by my count, Daddy-o, 9 of the words are yours and 7 are John's.
There you go.
Joe Burrow
Half
will
and half,
deal
John.
with
It was a team
4,
effort, John.
Says
Yeah, but 9 and
orthopedic
7
surgeon.
doesn't get you into the playoffs anymore.
That's true.
That's true, but John, is a collaborative team effort.
Go team.
And so here's the thing. So this article made national headlines to the point where Mrs. Sheeran, the very respectable Mrs.
matriarch.
Sheeran, the matriarch of the show, she noticed this article and she was raving about it, as you see. So I found out this article. It was it talked about the surgeon, just to summarize what she said, and so anyway, so you have here John with the chat going back and forth about aggregating. But
I'm on John's mom's side here. You really didn't add anything but just a couple shrooms to his story.
that was you. That was you.
Oh,
See,
good
I'm
addition.
not going to take credit for that. I'm not going to take credit for
Well, I
Oji's
was on
contribution.
shrooms at the moment, so I don't quite remember.
Right. So sorry to Mrs. Sheeran for stealing John's work.
Well, as everyone saw, like, I don't have an issue with you aggregating my work and citing me as the original author of the interview. That was very
Right.
kind and professional from Dr. Kustakovich. I take issue with the fact that you highlighted very specific words in the headline in order to gain the most
Yeah.
traction, and then people ran with that headline without actually reading the rest of the article.
I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hate when people do that. That's what I'm saying. A lot
That's
of people,
called-
they're
that's
just
called
not.
I
clickbait.
really wish there was a way for you to solve that problem. I guess we'll never know.
I
though.
wish that people would
John,
read.
the-
Read, people. Read.
You know, if I may, the problem, John, with him solving this little mistake that he makes is that it's
Right.
not done by mistake. You see,
Well,
the problem is that the error is on purpose.
Well,
and so
I barely know English, so this is mostly ChatGPT.
well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's clear. You are everybody knows at Cincy Jungle that the Daddy-o McDuck article is gonna be clickbait. They just know that at this point,
And yet they
still-
click.
Well, they
And
can't
yet
fight the temptation. I
They
click
can't
too.
fight the temptation.
Yeah.
The juicy worm.
Look, let us move on. Because we have, John, the Ring of Honor, okay,
Gosh.
and it's coming up. And here's the thing: we have a lot of candidates.
Are you on the ballot?
I am not on the ballot yet. I'm not eligible because I'm still playing. I'm still a podcaster. But John,
Can I present a
Yeah.
minority view here?
sure.
Why talk about the Ring of Honor? Why does it matter? Why don't we talk about real football? What's going to happen this season? What's going to happen this year? I'm sorry.
Because we all know what's going to happen this season is going to break our hearts. But the Ring of Honor is forever. A
I
ring
don't
is
think
forever.
this season's
Yeah.
going to break our hearts.
I don't think so either.
I
don't know where
haven't
that
had the
came
chance
from.
to talk about Joe Burrow yet.
No, you have not. And
Have
by the
you?
way, we have not had the chance to talk about Joe Burrow's new
Okay,
best
first of all,
friend,
look at the man.
Jermaine
He's huge.
Burton. Look at
Look
that.
at the man.
He's
He
huge.
looks like a linebacker.
Look at their eyes when they meet. Just
No,
look.
and he's
look
older,
how shy
he's
he
wiser.
is. Yeah.
And here's the thing: everybody's wondering if Joe Burrow's wrist is 100%. But how
Look at
do
that.
you tell
He's
people?
moving all directions.
How
Yeah.
do you tell people that his wrist isn't 100%? It looks to me like his wrist is 110%.
Yeah.
He looks stronger than ever before. Did you know, Daddy-o,
Yeah.
that in the ancient and medieval world, a sword that was older and had little nicks and cracks on it was more valued than a new sword? Do you know why?
Yes,
Why?
of course. Because
Because it was tried in battle.
exactly.
And so they knew the steel wouldn't break.
Right.
Joe Burrow cracked open his arm. Oh,
It's
well,
like-
who cares?
yeah.
It's healed.
It is like
battle
this
ready.
show and lawsuits, copyright
I
infringements.
predict the Joe Burrow that I have seen in these games. I cannot imagine the Bengals losing one game this year, not one.
No, I don't think so. No,
I
don't
think
so either.
it's going to be a straight ride home.
I do too. So, because of that, really, who cares about the
And
Ring
that's
of
my
Honor?
horoscope.
Nobody cares about the Ring of Honor, John.
I
But
don't.
I want to just talk about it because for the people. And so here you have the list of people.
Oh God!
Right.
If they
Yeah.
give a Ring of Honor to Chris Collinsworth,
Right.
I am retiring from
So
being a Bengals fan.
let us just go through these names. Okay, Bob Trump.
Max Montoya deserves it.
So Max Montoya was on the show. Reggie Williams was on the show. David Fulcher was on the show.
Love
those
David
three
Fulcher.
guys. They obviously get Bengals
James
culture.
Brooks,
they care about
amazing.
the fans.
Corey Dillon, amazing. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, I'm really into the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and Bob Trump. I mean, just name alone. Obviously, the guy's a winner.
Oh, come
So-
on.
Who Bob?
Yeah,
No, because of the Trump.
that's yes. I mean, the guy wins. But
Well, what about Tim Cream Pie?
Tim Cream Pie. I reached out to Tim Cream Pie about being on the show. And he said, I'm too busy. He said, I'm not doing podcasts anymore. I reached out to Chris Collinsworth. He did not answer, which tells you that these guys are not serious about the fans.
Not serious at all.
They don't care about the fans. If you don't care about the fans, why should the fans care about you? Don't vote for those two guys. No, I'm just joking. Crumbright was a great player. I loved how he played the
Very serious injury he suffered. He like tore his knee open.
Yeah. And
You
then
can get a vote for that.
Obviously, he had a-
I would vote for Dillon and Parrish personally. I think Lamar Parrish making 6 Pro Bowls in the first 8 years of his Bengals
Yeah.
career. He was always kind of in Ken Riley's shadow as another cornerback, and he's like 76 years old. I feel like we got to get him in sooner than later.
I agree, but I will say Corey Dillon, talent-wise, was about as good of a running back as I've ever seen.
Well, you can vote for
He-
twos. He was my
he's
other
good.
vote.
Yeah. But
So
you
my
can,
number
you can
one
steal
vote-
my idea, John. It seems like it's
My
a
only
it's
thing
a
is,
team
how
here.
is
Aggregated it.
How is it the case that Max Montoya has not gotten the Ring of Honor yet?
Because Max Montoya was very good. But I mean, if you take his overall career, right, he was amazing. And because he was on the show, he's a friend of ours. Obviously, he should be in. So that's my argument.
And that was our neighbor. So,
was our
but,
neighbor, yeah.
but here's my thing. I mean, really, why isn't Max Montoya one of the greatest offensive linemen ever?
He was like Pro Bowl caliber for the Bengals.
And he had that restaurant, Max's or
He did.
Montoya's.
Montoya's, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a lot
I-
of horses. He embraced
honor
the area. He definitely embraced the area.
he
And
needs a ring of
his
honor.
daughter was on our show. Not only was he on our show, his daughter was on our show.
Do you remember James Brooks? Wasn't he the guy that got all those interceptions?
No, he was running back.
No.
He was a
played-
running back. Yeah.
He was like the Gio Bernard before Gio Bernard.
Yeah.
Long before.
Well, look what you've done to Rick S., Dr. Hoji. He now
Well,
has...
then vote for him for the Ring of Honor. He deserves it.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, any other final thoughts, John?
Nah, I think
anything.
We can cut it there, I think.
Well, I don't know if this is enough for the 3 or 4 blogs that we need, both of us need for this week. We need content.
I'll write something and then you can write off of it.
You know one thing you
Yeah.
didn't discuss?
What's that?
The fact that Coach Zach. is
There we
handing
go. Yes.
Yeah.
Coach
handing over the reins
Zach
to
Taylor,
Some
in a recent article that I published on Sister Jungle, he says, I'm going to let Dax Shepard, Dax pitch Dan Pitcher
Dan
take
Pitcher.
a step. I'm going to take a step back,
Use the little.
and I am going to let him take ownership of the direction of the offense.
Now, should we read the full quote? Maybe.
No, we don't have time.
We
Here's
what,
the
what
probably
does
thing.
it mean?
could.
What
But what
While
does that
Zach
mean?
Taylor remains the play caller, Taylor's approach in OTAs this year.
That's
has
not
been
the quote.
different.
That's
I'll
not the
take
quote.
a step
That's
back
an
this spring,
interpretation.
Taylor told Dan Horde of the
you
Bengals
go.
Booth podcast and
Yeah.
let pitcher take ownership in the direction
Yes.
of the offense.
Good.
This is from Charlie Goldsmith's blog.
Yes,
by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that
oh,
that
oh,
part.
yeah,
I'll take it back.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a step back. This spring was the quote. The other part was not a quote, John. That's fake news. Let me
That's
tell you
fake news.
something.
John, no, hold
No,
on,
hold on,
Yep.
John. It is the spring. So if he's going to take a step back now, guess what? It's happening in the spring.
It's
That
already
is what
supposed
the
to
quote means.
fall back, spring forward. By the way, John. John, here's a
Yeah.
question: better or worse? With Coach Zach stepping back, letting Dan Pitcher take more, is the team going to be better because of this or worse?
I don't really have an answer for that. I think with Dan Pitcher, he deserves a lot of credit for the growth that the offense took when Burrow was out. I think he was directly involved with making sure that the offense with Jake Browning under center was functional and ended up being a lot better than expected. I think those elements are definitely needed with the Joe Burrow offense, and I think him being in this elevated position, he's going to have more influence, which is the whole purpose of trying to get guys up to speed with the new, just the new languages, the new schemes in the offense, with the base still being the same under Zach. So I'm not really here to say who's better. I'm
So
here to
more
just
of the
inform
same.
people
Is that-
correctly.
Here's the
Is
thing,
it going to
John.
be more of the same then, John?
I wouldn't say
John.
more of the same. I would say
John.
just slightly evolved.
John.
So better.
John,
Yeah.
some people have addictions. So their mind tells them something, this is bad.
Okay.
But
this is not fair. You calling me out on the show?
No. But they cannot control themselves. Zach Taylor, he cannot control himself when it comes to throwing the ball. He just falls into the same habit.
He's only got the second best quarterback in the league. I mean,
I agree. And he's only got him almost killed. He's not killed him yet. John,
But they've
here's the thing.
tried running the ball and it didn't work. That's the problem.
It's not about running the ball. John knows. Play action. Under center. Giving Joe a little bit of
yeah,
a...
they tried to do that last year, and then he strained his calf.
Yes. And they didn't fix his calf. They just said,
Don't
keep throwing
blame
it.
Listen, don't
They
blame
didn't
Joe
put-
Burrow's injuries on Zach Taylor.
I'm
That-
not.
That's stupid.
John, hold on. We have to acknowledge that if Dan Pitcher is more involved in designing the offense, that could mean that the offense is going to make a little more sense. It's going to be more of what this team needs as opposed to what is most convenient.
See, you're not looking at this the way a Zach
John.
fan would look at this.
No.
The way we look at it is Zach focusing less on having to call the plays.
He's not talking about calling
offensively,
plays. He's talking about designing the offense, right,
designing
John?
the offense. Less focus on that means we
There
get
is a
more
new
Zach.
there's a new offensive coordinator there, right?
Yes,
And he's got his own
exactly.
ideas. He's got his own
Yes.
background. He's got his own preferences. Okay,
He's got his
all
own
of this
initials on
matters
his underwear.
in terms of an entire offense. It's more or less the same outside of a couple guys, right?
Right.
Those guys are used to Brian Callahan. He was the offensive coordinator for 5 years. There's a new guy there. He's going to tell him different things. He's going to, promote different things and whatnot. This is just the acclimation period for that.
There you go. So
There
John
we go.
basically confirmed
You
what I
heard it here
said.
first, folks.
Blog
Acclimation
written.
period begins.
You can find this
First
both on
was-
Cincy Jungle and A to Z Sports.
Yeah,
That's where you can find this material.
yeah.
We'll see who gets the story first.
And what should they write on the YouTube comments?
What they should write on the YouTube comments
Please
is,
make it simple.
do you think T. Higgins is going to be back this season?
Yes or no,
Yeah,
and why?
right. Money.
Be a lot
And
of
thumbs
yeses.
up it and subscribe. And also,
Yes. And check out John's / my articles everywhere you
well,
find your
John's
articles.
current articles, Dadio's future articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Check them out.
On A to Z Sports
.com
.com
/
/Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. And that is all we have for this show. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications for